And welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for Master Video today, building relationships and winning clients with video. I'm really excited to be here. My name is Cheryl Tan, and some of you may know me, and I know some of you, and I know that with the businesses that you have, video can help you. I just know that. So I wanted to start by saying we will have Q&A at the end. So if you want to grab some lunch, you can turn off your camera. You can leave it on, doesn't matter to me. Grab some lunch, and then after this presentation, I'll take questions and give as specific an answer as I can for you. And if we're doing that, I'd like to see your face. So if you want to eat now is a great time to do that. I just wanted to start out first by talking about the problem that I solve, because as business owners, we all have a finite amount of time, and your businesses solve specific problems. So I just want to tell you the problem that I solve, and then I'll talk with you about some really tactical things that you can do if this is your problem. So I work with three types of companies. Number one, a company that says, I just want to start using video. I just want to start, that's all. And I don't know where to start. And I'm overwhelmed at the idea of going to all of the places to learn all of the things to learn video. I train their teams, because chances are if you have a company that's big enough, it's not going to be you doing it all, it's going to be your team. So I train that team that you have to use video in your business. The second type of person or organization that I work with is a solo business, like a solo expert, somebody who has a figurehead, who maybe has a book launch coming up, who maybe wants to launch a foundation, but needs to build an audience, grow a platform, and has realized that video is that way to do it. So I work with that person. And then the third type of company organization that I work with is a company that is already using video, but is sort of overwhelmed because it can get away from you very quickly. And it can feel like you're doing video all the time when really you've probably got another business. So I help them figure out the systems to make video more streamlined and work for your company. And as my background is, some of you know, in TV news, our business was video. And I want to start by saying this, and I say it all the time, and I want you to really understand this, is there are very few people, some people you might know, but very few people that I meet who walk into a room and say, I'm a video creator, I want to be a YouTube star, I want to be the person in the spotlight. I mean, there are very few people that I know who really embody that. They get to that point, but in the very beginning, they're not there. So great video creators, they really aren't born. They're made. And it takes time, it takes determination, and it takes the understanding that we all start in a certain place. But video does build relationships. As you probably have noticed over the last 3 months, you've been at home, you've not been able to do your one-on-one, your travel. Video on landing pages capable of increasing conversion rates by over 80%. This is, by the way, before the pandemic. This is research done by HubSpot. The mere mention of the word video in your email subject line can increase open rates by 19%. 90%, again, before the pandemic, 90% of customers say videos help them make buying decisions. So no question, if we're consumers. If you see a video, if you can see a product being demonstrated, if you can see a human and hear their voice, see their eyes, understand what makes them tick, then you are more likely to either A, want to work with them, or B, not. So at least it's like some sort of barometer for you to understand whether you want to move forward with that person. We're going to cover 4 things today, 4 mistakes that you're making on video, most likely. We're going to talk about the fixes, because I like to give you something tactical to do afterward. The 3 types of videos that you can create right now. Like you can leave, you can tell your team to do it, you can do it yourself, but you can create these videos right away to help create connection for your company and your clients. With your clients. And then of course we'll take Q&A at the end. So feel free to put them in the chat if you'd like, or if you want to hold them, we can do like verbal kind of Q&A. And I'm happy to answer any questions as specifically as I can, because I know every situation is quite different. So again, I'm not talking about YouTubers or influencers. I'm not talking about vloggers. I'm talking about real companies who have clients, customers, who have a desire to help their clients and customers, who have educational materials that their clients and customers need to hear. The number one mistake is that you're not focusing on educational content. You may be looking at YouTube, or you're looking at Instagram, you're looking at your Facebook feed, and you're looking at these views on viral videos in the millions of a cat or a balloon or whatever. And you're thinking, I'm not capitalizing on that. And if that is your goal, that's awesome. Good luck. But really the goal is for you to connect with a client and build relationships that win them over to your side. So if you're not creating educational content, then you're missing out. And part of that is focusing on your message. Part of it is positioning and messaging, but really paying attention to what your clients and customers need to hear. So we've got a lot of folks here who have a lot of huge expertise in SEO and content creation and all of that. But at the end of the day, if a client is asking you a question and you hear that question from multiple clients, which you probably do, I hear the same questions over and over again, and that's where this presentation comes out of, but I hear the same questions and so do you, then you have the opportunity to answer those questions in a video. How you do that, we can talk about that a little bit later, but at the end of the day, if there's a client, if there's a question that comes to you on a regular basis, how do I get great lighting? How do I create a video in a short amount of time? What kind of equipment do I need? It's all here in this presentation, but you probably have the same type of question that is lobbed at you every single day. You can create a video with that answer. When you create your video, get to the point quickly. Now, YouTube, Facebook, they do love it when your videos are max 10 minutes. But in the very beginning, if you can't create a compelling video in 10 minutes, get to the point quickly and start by seeding your audience with shorter videos and working up to getting to that 10-minute mark where they're going to stay through the entire thing. So a good rule of thumb when you're giving a video, let's say the question is, how do I create a virtual event? I'm seeing you, Deanie. How do I create a virtual event for my next client gathering? Tell them what you're going to tell them, and then recap at the end. Tell them what you told them and make sure that the focus is on offering value, that you're focused on getting them to some sort of result, maybe not to the entire result, but to some sort of result so that you, as the expert, are seen as that expert. The second thing that you may be making a mistake with is you're not watching like a viewer. So you're not watching your videos like someone who could be at home. So like as a TV viewer, for example, like, someone eating some popcorn and watching your video. So if you're concerned about this, take a screenshot of this, because this is really the key to having a quote professional looking video, because I get a lot of people who say, how do I make professional looking videos? Well, you can make a professional looking video with your smartphone. There are anchors right now who had been shooting videos and who had been doing the news from their living rooms with an iPhone, just like the one I have and like the one that you probably have. So the way to look professional on camera is to use what you already have. I mean, and we'll talk about equipment a little later, but really, start with what you have, but make sure you bring your energy. That's point number 5, and smile, because what the camera does is it flattens us all out. And while we're all on our heads thinking that we are, nervous and we're not sure if our audience wants to hear what we have to say, what comes across is we're bored and we're not really knowing our material. So you actually have to bring energy more than you're feeling on a normal basis in order for them to get even part of that in return. So when you're on a Zoom call, when you're creating a video, when you're doing some sort of presentation on camera, you have to bring the energy more than feels comfortable. So in terms of framing, what I see a lot of, so my dad is 81. We just introduced him to Zoom. This may be something that you are familiar with, right? This is the camera shot that I get. And every time I do a Zoom call with him, I'm like, Dad, I can't see your face. I can't. And he's like, oh yeah, okay. But when you're creating a video, you want to make sure that you set that up so they don't have to worry about it. So your audience simply needs to click play or jump on the Zoom call and see you. And I'm kind of shifting myself, anchor style, right? So you've got your head in the frame, your shoulders and chest, you can see about an inch of space between the top of your head and the top of the screen, and make sure that you're looking in the right place. And people are always asking me, where do I look? Look in the camera. And I know that sounds simple, but actually it's not. Figuring out where the camera is something that you should do before you create your video or before you get on your Zoom call. So right now, actually, I've got a Logitech C920 webcam that I'm using, and I'm looking at that camera. But right under the camera is the little peephole for the camera on my Mac. So either way, I'm looking in the same place. And so if you're on a Zoom call, that's where you would look if you wanted to make it seem like you're looking into their eyes. Now, if I'm looking at you guys, I'm looking at you guys right now, that's okay too. But know that situationally, if you're on a Zoom call, that's what you would be doing. But if I was shooting a video, I'd look here and in my camera, and it would seem to you that I was looking you in the eye. And so you want to know where that camera is for you. On your phone, you know, where is it? For me, it's right here. That means you're looking right here when you're shooting that video. But take a picture, shoot a test video to find out where that is, because it's really disconcerting when you're watching a video and the person is like over here, unless it like is an interview, but they're like looking like somewhere that is not where it's supposed to, or they're shifty-eyed and they're confused. So make sure that's not you. You'll be looking in the right place, whether it's at the people in the Zoom or in the camera. There is an understanding that you know where it is that you're looking at. And then you want to place that camera slightly above eye level. That helps a lot of issues. If you actually just raise the camera, it helps a lot of issues with your chin. It helps a lot of issues with lighting. If you simply, I've got this on 2 shoe boxes right now. If you just simply raise your camera, it just helps with a lot of issues with framing and looking more put together. Okay, so the third mistake that you're making is you're worried about perfection over people. Now, I know you guys have some great companies that have a lot of brand awareness, and you want to preserve that. And if you look at the slide that I just shared with you, that'll take away a lot of the issues that you have regarding the videos that you share. The second part is the equipment part. And I know that with all of the marketing out there on equipment, there's a lot of equipment envy. Like, you think you need to have audio, video, and lighting, and you need to have the top of the line. And if you have the resources, have at it. I mean, I'll tell you what I'll be buying soon, but I don't know if it's necessary right now. I know what we use at the station, and I don't know if it's really necessary, especially since you have a smartphone that is likely just good enough. I put these in order. Okay, so I don't want you to be worried about perfection. At the same time, there are some basics that do need to be followed. So your audio, when you're talking about video, is more important than anything, because just sort of think about it. If you guys some of you might be eating, totally fine. But you're listening to me. So you maybe not even watching me, but you're listening to me. And if this was unclear, like if I did this, this is gonna make you mad, right? That will make you mad, but I'm using a microphone. It's an ATR 2100. The audio is more important because we're focusing really on the listening part, even more so than the video part. The video part, the camera you have is just fine. Again, I do have a webcam. I do use my iPhone for a lot of videos, and I haven't really felt the need to upgrade. Although there are, a lot of really cool things you can buy that can make your setup a lot better. What can make you look more professional is lighting. So I'm using that light right now that you see in this picture. It's got a diffuser. I also highly recommend these Cowboy Studio lights that are like softbox and really pretty. But lighting is important in that you want the lighting on your face. So you don't necessarily need to buy an like an external light, but make sure if you don't do that, that you're sitting in front of a window, because that again will clear up a lot of your professional type video issues if you have the right lighting on you. Oh, and speaking of audio, is I also have a little microphone that I plug into my phone. So audio is that important that I will spend some money on that, and it just doesn't cost a lot. I do have resources on this list, and if you have specific questions about equipment, I'm happy to talk about that as well. So the last mistake that I see is that you're not speaking up at all. Like, there's a lot of information out there. There's definitely a lot of people talking about it. And I think that that can lead to a lot of paralysis and thinking, well, how do I really start video for my business when there are so many voices out there, when there are so many other people talking about the same thing in my industry, that kind of thing. Well, the reason it's important to me is, especially now, people want to meet you online before they decide to get in the car, even if they can get in the car to come see you. And this was more important back then when we were doing live in-person events. I meet a lot of people who are fine in person. They can speak to a room of thousands with no issue, but then the live on camera piece becomes a real barrier. So now that we don't have live in-person events, then this live on camera piece really becomes more important, because having the ability to do both, especially now, can really increase your ability to grow that audience and grow that reach, so that you can increase the leverage for that power of one-to-many. Just like I talked to you earlier when I said, if somebody is asking you that question over and over again, or different types of people ask you the same question, you can really serve yourself, give yourself a little break on time by creating one video that answers that one question over and over that you just send out. You're not doing it all the time. And this part breaks my heart, because I talk with too many people who decide that they're just not going to be on camera. They're worried about how they'll come across. So they turn down a TV opportunity, they turn down an interview, they turn down a speaking opportunity, a virtual summit, they turn down something because of this. And so that's why I feel like it's so important to just have these skills that you work on, so that you don't have to bypass any opportunities. Okay, so if you're on board, if you're like, okay, well, this is what I'm ready, like this is what I'm ready to do. So this is what I always suggest. There are 3 types of videos. There's many more types, but these are 3 you can start with, where you put it on your Facebook page. Maybe it's a video you put on Instagram. Maybe you pin it to the top of your Twitter profile. Maybe it's something you put on your website, although I don't suggest this. I mean, this kind of video, because it's so casual using your phone, it probably is not going to be on front and center on your website, but it could be on your blog page. But it's a welcome. Like, hey, this is what you do. This is the problem that I solve. Here is how we solve it for you. And this is what you can expect from me. We're going to be creating a series of videos every quarter that help you understand the power of virtual events, or body work, or SEO, or IT. But this is simply a welcome, something that you would do if you were in person with them, but you can't do that, and they're looking online anyway before they decide to shake your hand. This is just a, hey, here's what we've got planned. The second one is a behind the scenes video. Again, it can be casual. It may have movement. Maybe it's not you on camera. Maybe it's you focusing on your team and saying, hey, this is how we build this product. This is what we have planned for you coming up. This is the warehouse. This is how we do this thing. And let me show you the steps that take it. Of course, nothing proprietary, but whatever you want to share is really interesting to your audience. And then, of course, lastly would be the tutorial, a professional, education-focused, may not have a time limit. Again, 10+ minutes are really now what I'm seeing is trending higher in the algorithms in YouTube and Facebook, given that you are able to make it compelling in those 10 minutes, but make it something that they'll learn something from. Again, rule of thumb, tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. And just it's a very simple formula. And so this formula is one that I work with my clients, and it's a 5-step process. We prepare them. We talk all about the equipment. And so in the very beginning, when I started doing this, I didn't focus on the equipment at all, because I thought, well, everybody's got a smartphone. but that's what everybody wanted to talk about. So I made this into part of the process. We talk about your audio, your video, and your lighting, because that's the first in your brain. It's the first thing you think about. So we get that out of the way. Then we talk about your positioning and how your videos work to help people see you in the way you want to be seen. Then there's a process, right? You have to have a process where you create your videos smartly, right? Because you can create 4 videos like you can create a video Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then all you're doing is creating videos, or at least it feels like that, because you've got the mental thing that you're working with. You've got to make the scripts. And so I've got a process that I work people through where you're doing it once a month and then you move on. And then the beginning of the next month, you create video for the rest of the month. I always say this, no one will see a video that you don't publish. So we talk about publishing a lot, and it works on some of the mindset things that we have in our head that even though we create it, we're not going to publish it. So we really talk about publishing as that 4th step. And then really you have to promote the videos more than you create them. That means it's a good thing. It means you're actually not creating as much as you think, but you're actually promoting more and creating relationships with people who can promote your videos in a better way. So what is your next step? If you have questions, and I'll turn this off so that you can ask me any questions, any specific ones that you have. But if video is the next thing on your list, and I talk with a lot of people who they're just like, video is the thing, but I don't know where to start. Well, I'm happy to hop on a call with you to show you any missed opportunities or where you can get started to feel like you're moving to that next level. So happy to do that for free, CherylTanMedia.com. You can just send me an email if you want, Cheryl@CherylTanMedia.com. I think it'll be on this, connected to this presentation, or you can just book a call, book a time at CherylTanMedia.com/consultation. That's all I have. I'll stop the share, and if you have any specific questions, I'd love to take them and help answer any of your questions that you might have. Oh, I know some of you all on here. It's nice to see all of you. Let me see if the chat, I don't think anything is in the chat. You can do the chat if that's what you would prefer, if like you're eating lunch or anything like that. Maybe you can tell me how many of you are using video currently. Awesome. Would you like, Leon, would you like to talk about it? Or not? I like to put people on them.
Space bar didn't work. We, about 1.5 years ago, we, with a marketing company we were working with, created a bunch of videos around sculpting, which is one of the treatments we offer.
Perfect.
We also ended up doing like a Vogue 74 questions kind of thing, and an interview format that I haven't seen out of production yet. So we spent like 2 or 3 days over a long weekend doing a bunch of filming.
Cool. So you already have the videos, the first set out. How have they worked? How have you enjoyed the results?
I think so. I think it became like 46 questions. Mandy Berkowitz kind of QA, made that all happen.
Yeah.
And I think it went pretty well. I don't know that we really set up perfect ways to track metrics on it, but just based on social media response, it did well.
Awesome. Any struggles relating to that? Mandy is fantastic. So I'm sure the answer is no, but sometimes it's always good to get ideas just from other industries on the same topic.
For us, it was the first time our staff was shooting video like that. It's a med spa. They're very looks oriented, and they were really scared about how they would come across on TV.
Always.
How well they would do with the scripts. We were all novices, how many, what seemed very easy to go through off camera took us how many times to get through it on camera and get it right. Understanding what could be edited so we didn't have to be perfect. They could, over 5 or 6 takes, if you got each thing right once or twice, they could meld it together. And there was a big learning curve first time doing it.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, what I will tell you from doing these so many times is the first time is really the hardest, when you're really understanding what goes into a shoot, and then it hopefully is cut down in half. And then it gets worse, but don't worry about that. I did a video the other day, 35 takes. So, I mean, don't get scared, but it just, you get better, you get worse, it's all the same. I do have a couple questions. Hold on. Robin is asking, Robin is asking, I travel a lot. What do you recommend when you can't control the background?
Hi,
Okay.
Cheryl.
Oh, background.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, Robin. How are you?
Doing well. Great presentation. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So travel is fantastic, by the way, because what I talked about relating to lighting is going to be your friend. So you don't necessarily have to have like a professional background. If you're traveling somewhere, hotel, if you've got a conference room, go toward a window and a background that is not super cluttered, which typically if you're traveling, it's not going to be like that. So you're probably going to have a lot of luck, but lighting is going to be your friend here. And create your videos like we talked about in that two slides back, is look for the light, make sure the camera is higher than eye level. And you can buy some stuff that helps a little bit. You can get a tripod, small stuff, get like a microphone that plugs into your iPhone, and you can really create videos on the fly. It can work really well. I've got a question. Will a selfie light work?
Yes, I'm sorry. May I have a couple follow-up questions to what you were just saying about the background? So one, I have very chocolate skin, so I find that lighting is not that easy for me.
Yeah.
Because when I'm near a window, sometimes it like washes me out, or I just look like a dark blob. So can you talk about lighting for brown people?
Absolutely. Okay. Lighting is, really, I'm not an expert in lighting. I just have been around bad lighting for a long time. So I'm really aware of it. Okay. So window lighting can definitely wash you out. And to Leon's point, you're a med spa, right? So, you want everyone to have good lighting. You want everyone to look good. I mean, this is your business. This is your brand. Completely get it. So you can buy all kinds of light to control the situation. So I have a light right now. I'm in front of a window. And if I didn't have the light, it might be too harsh and focused. So just control the situation. You can buy little, Robin, if you can see this.
I can.
Okay, you can have like this little ring light that you clip onto things. What you will have to be aware of though is this can be pretty harsh, right? So I don't always use it because it's so harsh. So you might need to find like the cowboy studio lights that I talked about earlier that have a diffuser. And I would put the light higher. You have to play with it. So again, I know you're traveling.
And I was going to say, because I really need it to be compact.
Yeah.
So the bigger light that you have in terms of the diffuser may not work.
It may not work, but there are some. So let me take a look around. There may be some, I know there are some really great entrepreneurs who are creating lighting, and there are some really, really, really powerful portable ones. Not as small as this, but definitely something that you can travel with. But you're not out of luck. Like there'll be an option if the window light is not sufficient or not the way you want it to be. And also sometimes in those hotels they do have light. They have the that piece in between the panel, you know what I mean? Like that could also be a diffuser. So just be aware of that. You might be able to use that and get the light that way, or you bring your own.
Can you put in the chat the name of the light that you just showed?
Oh yeah. Oh, this is just a $15 one I got on Amazon. I mean, it's just like I just typed in ring light.
Okay.
And you can, I'm happy to give you my resources list, but I just go to Amazon and ring light and it's all right there.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Will a selfie light work with an iPad? Yes. Yes. Selfie lights are great. That's what I consider these. These are like selfie lights. Kim asked, do you have a recommendation for a boom mic for an iPhone? Our iPhone doesn't seem to pick up sound well. I also need a boom mic for iPad. Yeah. RODE, the Rode is apparently really, really good. It is a little higher priced. I personally, I use a boom. So what a boom mic is it connects to your phone. So so here's the connector point. It actually just stays right here on the phone. So what that means is you kind of have to be fairly close to your phone for it to be effective, but it is more effective than not having one. I use a clip-on mic with a really long cord. It's called a Boya, and I love it. Oh my gosh, it's like such a good little light. But so those are your two options. Like if you have a lot of people who you're trying to get audio for, then use your boom, the Rode, which is apparently really good. I have not used it myself, but it's a really well-known brand. So again, that would be if you have, like, let's say you're doing interview style, like 3 or 4 people, that's where I think you would use a boom like that for your iPad or for your iPhone. But if you're going to be kind of far away, let's say you're doing like instructional work, you're doing like work that's, you know, over here and you want like a far away shot, you want your camera over there. I use a clip-on mic. I'm not a really big fan of wireless. I know people hate seeing the wires, but Rode has a really good wireless mic as well. I use a Boya, B-O-Y-A microphone that's got like a 50-foot cord, and it's a really good little mic. If it's like, it used to be $20, I will tell you, inflation and COVID, it's like $25 now, I think, something like that. But yeah, so that's what I would recommend, because audio is so important. It's important that that we're aware, and it's the one thing that will annoy people enough that they'll turn off your video. So, but I mean, most microphones are fine. Like anything you Google will be fine. I just use those in particular, and I really enjoy them.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm excited. So what videos are you doing, Kim?
Well, we did have some professional ones done that are on our website that
Cool.
kind of give a tour and everything, but we actually do quite a bit of video because that's what engages people with, I mean, we're a school, so parents want to see kids and what they're doing. And ours are, you know, we get better and better, but they're pretty homegrown, but they work.
You know, I love it when people say homegrown, because that's where the mastery happens, and you figure out your own processes, and then you have your team who understands as well what you're looking for. So you'll understand if you do it enough, you'll understand, you know, lighting a little more. You'll understand where you sit for Zoom calls. Like, I'm going to call out Luke, if you don't mind. Luke, and I know you, Luke, I love you. Like, if you were to do a video, you wouldn't do it right now because you've got a window behind you, and that's distracting. Like, you know, and so you would turn it around, have the window in front of you. And I know you're not doing it today for any sort of purpose, because, right, you know this, because we used to work together a long time ago. But like, but now you know you would never do that, right? Not you, but, and nobody will do that on this call, because it's not optimal, and it's an easy fix. Like, it's one of the easiest fixes that will level up your video. Like, he turns that camera around like he faces the window, and you've got a beautiful home, clearly. So it's not, you know, it's not that. So you turn it around, and then like 110%, right? Do you all see the difference? I mean, just a huge difference. So what else are other people doing? John, you're doing video, aren't you?
Yeah, and what I wanted to ask is a little bit more on the amount that you're putting the videos out. We're doing right now like 4 videos a month. We're kind of front loading and like doing all the kind of like what Leon said, where we're taking all the video and then we're actually having someone edit, and then we're getting like 1 or so a week. We haven't, the COVID stuff kind of messed everything up, so we haven't even really put out our first video yet, because our guy that's doing the editing kind of got a little slack on us, so gotta get back on top of him. But how many videos is too much, and is it better to do them all at one time, or is it better to like break them up so you get, you know?
But what are they? What are the videos of?
Like some of it's educational stuff, some of it's just like, we do vehicle wraps, so some of it's just like a cool project that we're working on and we're showcasing the project.
Cool.
Some of it could be educational, some of it can be, you know, just like informative about different products that we offer and different things like that. So it really depends. It's all, you know, kind of all over the place.
Oh, so, okay. When you did the video shoot, you just sort of did a mix, which is fine. Like, I'm just trying to understand. So you have a little bit of this, a little educational, a little behind the scenes, a little, here's what's coming up. Okay.
Right. Exactly.
I like the idea of dripping it out, because marketing can be such a pain, right? I mean, you have to be in front of your people in such a consistent way. You're already creating the videos. what I would suggest is sort of mixing it with the social media that you have,
Right.
and also letting them know that it's coming. So let's say for your business, can you remind me the name of the business again?
AG Wraps.
That's right. Okay. So AG Wraps, let's say, I'm just going to say, let's say you have a YouTube. Do you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. So let's just say YouTube style, right? Let's say you have a channel and that you're going to be putting your videos on your YouTube channel and also on what other? Is it Facebook that you're launching them, or your website?
Facebook
Which one?
and Instagram, yeah.
Okay. So let's just say you're going to put it on your YouTube channel and you say, all right, AG Wraps, you're going to do an intro video, John, like you'll do one today, you'll do one on your phone. You'll be like, hey people, we're going to do a weekly video that we're going to share with you just about what's coming up in our business. We've got, now that we're not out of COVID, but now that we're sort of in phase 3, we've got a lot of great things happening this summer, and I want to keep you updated. So we're going to drop a video a week. Look for it. Okay. So that's your intro video. Maybe you put that on Facebook, maybe you put that on Instagram, maybe you put that on YouTube. But that's what I want you to think of, is to sort of work toward that. And so you'll have a video that you drop every week, every Thursday, let's say Thursday at 10 a.m. You upload that thing and let's say you do the first one is on one of your wraps. So you have to write some copy, talk about the wrap video, like, hey, this is a really cool job that we did. It's maybe, you did maybe the fast action kind of stuff, right? So here's how we did it in 2 hours, but you're going to see it in 30 seconds. And so you're going to say, this is it. And you'll put it on YouTube, and you'll put it on Instagram, and you put it on Facebook. But then you'll be able to say in the copy for that video, hey, next week, then you'll be able to see something new that we've got coming out.
Right.
And so you're giving your audience something to look forward to. And if they're not there the day that you drop it, well, it's there for them to catch whenever you want it. So I like the drip method, and I like you, first of all, not only dripping it, but then letting them know ahead of time that it's coming.
Right. How about for making the actual content? Is it better to try to pack it all into one and go ahead and get all the stuff together for those 4 videos and make the 4 videos, or just make one a week, every week?
Oh no, make them all at once.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah. Otherwise you'll be making videos every day.
I know.
I mean, unless you want to do that, and some people do, they become video creators, but you guys have businesses that you don't want to do that with. I don't know. So I would batch them. I mean, that's what we do at the TV station. We'll do 4. Gosh, we used to do 12 at a time. You just you knock it out, and it's a painful day. It's a painful day. You knock it out. Cool. Like what Leon did. Like you knock it out, and you scream and you moan, and you're like, why did I do this? And then you're like, this is going to be terrible. And then you go away, and then somebody edits it, or you edit it, or whatever. And then it's better. Then it's better. Did you have another question? Did I answer all of the questions?
You did. I do have one more question though. As far as for editing videos, like, what do you recommend putting? I know a lot of people that watch videos on like social media and stuff, they're not really using the audio. So do you recommend putting captions, like subtitles and stuff like that?
I do, but I also think that I do. So first of all, yes, captions like on Facebook. I wouldn't put captions on Instagram. I would make it like specific to the platform. Okay. I personally wouldn't do on YouTube. I mean, I think you can enable captions on YouTube, but I think people watch YouTube videos. I'm just kind of, and you kind of have to know your audience too.
Right.
It sounds like you have a mix of talking and you have a mix of talking and a mix of doing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Just like with some of the educational videos, like if we're explaining like how a wrap doesn't damage your paint when you go to remove it, there's some talking that goes involved in that. And if they're just seeing the video aspect of it, and they're not really getting, the full grasp of it. So. Yeah,
for that one, I would do the captions.
Right. And then is there a software that you recommend to do the captions with?
No, I mean, it takes time. Yeah. Like whatever editing software you use. I mean, I have a couple on my phone. I don't use them, so I don't like to necessarily recommend them if I don't use them. I just, I bite the bullet and I do it. You know what I mean? Like I just actually do it. It stinks. So Martin has a question. Can you discuss the different channels and what is the best way to push your video content? We're a B2B company and don't market to consumers. Okay. Great question. First of all, I would say LinkedIn is probably where you're going to be creating video, right? I mean, if you're going to create video and is your audience on LinkedIn, would you say? Yeah. So I would say that probably is, if I was you, my first step is to create video that is very targeted to the people who want to hear what you have to say. Secondly, I think YouTube is a great platform, because here's the thing about LinkedIn. Like, okay, you're on LinkedIn and you have, you know, you're Martin Joseph. Are you the president of the chamber still? Like you are?
Immediate past chair. I'm a has-been.
You're a has-been. But
Yeah.
isn't that the best place, right? Because it, like in the past. Anyway, maybe you don't want to create videos on, like maybe you want it to be for your company, right? Then you can create the videos for 360 IT. You could create it on YouTube and then have it very SEO specific. Isn't SEO one of the things that you guys do? SEO specific is such good things. Like you post the videos on YouTube, and then you share them specifically with your clients and customers through email. So you could do them both ways. You put them on LinkedIn, and I don't know if that's where some people, they don't want to put them on their personal profiles, although it is really effective. You would put these videos on your page, your 360 IT page, your Martin Joseph LinkedIn profile, and then in your YouTube, you'd optimize that for SEO. So you kind of get 3 hits on that. And then of course you would send the link from YouTube to your email subscribers. So past clients and customers, people who regularly get correspondence from you via email. Julie has a question. What is the easiest? Did I miss something, Martin? Did I answer?
Oh, I just wanted to say thank you. And not only that, I've got a secret weapon called Luke Barton. He's really great.
Luke, were you listening? Okay, Julie asked, what is the easiest video program for editing for a beginner? Currently using iMovie. iMovie is it. Like if you have an iPhone, iMovie is it. InShot is really good, I think. You can have, there's like a paid version that I actually haven't paid for, but you can use that on an Android as well. So for people who have Androids, I would definitely recommend the InShot. I use WeVideo, and I'll tell you why. It's a cloud-based program, and I never have enough storage on my phone. Like I never do. So I can record stuff on my phone. I can record stuff on my desktop. I upload it to WeVideo in the cloud, and I can edit it, and it just stays in the cloud. That's why I use it. And there are a lot of other ones out there. There's Final Cut, there's Adobe. Kim uses Camtasia. Awesome. It's awesome. But I never have enough hard drive space. So you have a PC, clearly. ScreenFlow is the equivalent for a Mac, which I have, and it's great. I never have enough storage. So I end up spending half of my time deleting storage or deleting stuff so I have storage. So that's why I use WeVideo. I think if we're going to create videos that are consistent for a business, it has to work for us. So that's where I go for it, is I use that because it works for me. But yes, iMovie, which I love, it is not enough for what I want to do with video. So that's why I go to WeVideo. Did I answer the question?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Can't wait to see your videos. Right. Any other questions? Was this helpful? I think sometimes just hearing what other people are doing is motivation. So would anyone like to talk about some of the videos they are already creating? Deanie, are you creating?
Yeah, so I do a lot of things for other clients and not for myself, of course, right?
Cobbler.
So we're doing a lot of video, a lot of things to go into our virtual events. I'm pre-recording a lot of things. Just because sometimes where we are, internet's not the best and things like that. So some of the things that we're streaming are pre-recorded. So we're doing some of that. So we're doing a big mix now. I'm not doing any videos right now for executive events. So I'm still working in the business, not on the business, right? So that's something that I would like to do in the future because I do get questions, especially now that a lot of virtual events are going on. What's the best platform, things like that. So I would like to start doing videos for executive events and not just for our clients.
So I mean, that's a perfect example, right? To be able to be that figurehead, either to feel comfortable enough or to empower a team member enough to talk about your company in a way that lives on your website. So this video could go on YouTube, but really at the end of the day, it lives on your website. So somebody who is trying to figure out what you do, they can actually see you talking about it. They can see you in your eyes and your framing and your lighting, right? And they can see you and your passion for what you do. And that to me is the goal, is helping you get to that point, feeling that you're ready to do that. So yay, that's awesome. Congratulations, Deanie. I know that's close because you've got a lot on your plate, but then that'll come soon.
Yeah, and so hopefully we'll work with some people in the future where we can show some of the videos, because a lot of the client stuff that we do is private. So that kind of hinders us too. But
right.
So
oh, that stinks. Well, hopefully.
We'll work on some things.
Yeah, you're working on that. Any other questions? This has been great. I really appreciate the questions, and I mean, I'd love to hear more about what videos. So if some people I know aren't showing, feel free to unmute and talk. I'll be quiet for a moment so you can do that. If you want to tell me what kind of videos you're doing. And you'll have to forgive me when I hear silence, I can't handle it. So I got to keep talking. Like is that news background? Like if there's silence, I have to fill it, but I'm going to try. I'll stop again for like 10 seconds. If anybody else wants to talk about some of the videos that they're creating, I really think that when you hear what other people are making, it helps you see what you can do with your own.
I could chime in on what we're planning for the future.
Cool.
So obviously we sell procedures. We sell laser tattoo removal, laser hair removal, all those kinds of things. And, normally in May, we would have had open house and had 400 or 500 people come through the clinic in a couple of days. Obviously that didn't happen. And we really just did a virtual open house in June. And literally today we're talking about what do we do for the next open house in October. We can't presume that we're going to be able to have people come in. So, and now I'm going to try to not look at you guys on the side of my screen. I'm going to try to look at my camera, see if I can take the lesson here. So what we've decided is we're going to try to start doing more short videos based on the SEO hits we're getting, and therefore what people are most interested in, that will be precursors to being all that material we need for another virtual open house come the fall. Hopefully, in the process, we'll sell lots of procedures because of the videos now. And we'll have those as part of that library. And again, back to SEO, we spent a bunch of time and money on blogs. How many people read the blogs? 2 or 3%. But by golly, the crawlers at Google read the blogs, and they have been hugely helpful in our SEO gains. We've really had big gains lately in SEO because of all the content. And now if we can weave that same content into the videos, meaning a great video and the written description underneath has those keyword questions that we know Google is looking for, we think we can win right off of those before we even get to the open house. So
I love it.
First one is probably going to be laser tattoo removal.
Ooh,
great new laser. There's so many misconceptions about the procedure, and I have a great photogenic staff, and there's always somebody who's got a tattoo. They'll pony an arm up or a toe up or something to get zapped. So that's what we're going to start doing.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Do you ever, are you guys on Instagram?
We are, and that's, one of the other pieces is to link it to Instagram and put some money behind it.
Yeah, and like IGTV. I mean, like I think IGTV for a little while was languishing, but I think now it's kind of getting a resurgence. And those little short snippets, those, I was just kind of thinking as you were saying, what is laser tattoo removal? Does it hurt? Does it really cover it up? All those questions, you can just answer, ask those questions, and then like a 2 to 3 minute video that you can use on IGTV. So I was just kind of thinking of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I read your mind. Robin had another question. She would like our advice, my advice. I would like to do a weekly marketing educational video. What is your advice? Yes. Oh, how to do it? Or I would say yes, I would definitely do it. I would probably be, like Leon was talking about, very specific And I know that specificity is not always what people want to do, but I think if you are specific, then you will reach the people you need to reach, and then they'll let you know that they want more. So I could have done this whole, I guess I could have done this whole presentation on lighting or microphones or something, and there'd be a number of you who'd be like, oh, that's really what I want to talk about. But I think for you, I mean, it could be something like, SEO, or it could be something very, very specific, one lane, and then kind of work on your different topics, different types of specificity in the coming weeks. And what I think is really good, like what John had talked about, because he batched his videos already, he already has a bank of videos. He knows what's going to happen next week, and you can too. So if you take the time to figure out, okay, we're going to talk about SEO this week, we're going to talk about IGTV next week, we're going to talk about YouTube the week after, then you can, in the TV world, you tease ahead. Next week, we're going to talk about the power of YouTube, blah, 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 blah. Would you keep it to 3 minutes or less for the weekly marketing educational video? In the very beginning, I would. In the beginning, I would keep it shorter to see if there is traction and test it, because 3 minutes is a lot less than 15. And if you shot a 15-minute video, which is kind of the optimal, like 10 to 15 is like the optimal time, that takes a lot of time to do. So a 3-minute video is a lot less of a time commitment, but then you can also see if there is engagement, you can see if people click, you can see if people care, you can see if people DM you, or if they send you an email in return. And that is kind of a manageable bite for you to tackle, and then create a bunch of them all at once.
Cheryl,
yeah.
Should you do the teaser, since you're putting it on YouTube, the teaser of here's next week we're going to be talking about this and this and that, because sometimes when you find a YouTube video, you might be number 3 in the series or something like that. You could jump around and find whatever video you're looking for. So does that intro, like, hey, here's my weekly, 7 steps, and this is step number whatever, and then teasing the next step. Should you do that or not?
I think what you're asking is, yes. So let me see if I got this right. So let's say you have an 8-part series on the best way to create a virtual event. Step 1 is find your audience. Step 2 is blah, blah, blah. Step 3. So you have all your steps, and you're going to do 1 video per step. And in video 1, you're going to say, in my next video, step 2, we're going to talk about the virtual platform you're going to use. And what that does is, for the live people, they're going to wait. But for the replay people, which is everybody else, you're going to be able to, in YouTube specifically, you're going to be able to link at the end to that second video. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, just for kind of like Robbins, or if someone was doing something like that, it's sometimes you just find you're in the middle of the series. And so is that good for just natural finding and things like that?
Yes, it is. It is still. It is good. You can definitely numerically, because if people wanted steps 1 through 3 and they came on Robin's series at step 7, they'll find it, and it'll be all, if you do it correctly in YouTube, if you connect them, then you'll be able to find them with no problem. Like if you put them in a playlist, they'll be able to find them. Cool. Is that what, did I answer your question? I'm not sure if I did.
That's what I meant. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Cool. Well, I can't wait to see your videos. Please let me know if you do them, when you do them, and feel free to email me if I can help you, one-on-one. My email is cheryl@cheryltanmedia.com. Yay. Thank you so much for joining and for sharing your questions. How exciting.